Hello, this is Liz Lawless, your host for Wild West Diversity, where we tell the rarely and untold stories of multicultural contributions to the settling of the American Wild West. Each Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, we'll be sharing a historical legend and a living legend. Someone from history and someone living that Western lifestyle today, keeping it alive for the future generation. We hope you'll join us on Thursday. If not, we'll see you on the trail. Hello, this is Liz Lawless, your host for Wild West Diversity, and this is episode 50. Just wow, 50 episodes. So very delighted today. We're going to be talking in just a minute with Alex Ewings. Alex is a fashion designer, and he kind of grew up with a foot in both worlds, so we'll be excited to talk to him. But as you know, this show is about sharing those rarely and untold stories about historical legends and living legends. So today we're talking about living legends, as well as that connection to heritage and legacy and how we want to pass that on, to the next generation. So we hope you'll go back and watch our other shows. We'll hope you'll go to our YouTube channel at Wild West Diversity and subscribe, punch the red button, and subscribe to the show so you can get notified when a new show comes up. But we're here every Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. But let's get to the show. So, Alex, how are you today? Come on in here.
Hello. How are you? I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Well, thanks so much for taking a little time and joining us today. As you know, we're here talking about Western history and multicultural Western history and why that's so important. And I'll probably ask you that a little bit later on into the show. But usually we kind of start with, how did you get involved? I know you kind of had family that were kind of country boys or country folks, and they participated in rodeo and some things like that. And that's kind of how we got connected. But tell us a little bit about that, what it was like either growing up or, what your experience was.
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So I was born in Texarkana, Texas.
Yeah, got cousins over there myself.
Small town in East Texas. Also have a lot of family in Magnolia, Arkansas. So I have family there today. My grandmother lived there for most of my life up until she passed away. So we spent a lot of time there. My great grandmother was living in Walker. She lived in Walker before she passed away, which is probably like 25, 30 minutes outside of Magnolia. So we spent a lot of time there. And, in the summer months, a few weeks throughout the year, my mom would take us out there. And I had cousins that lived in Dallas as well that would come down and visit. It was always fun. We also had cousins that lived in Boynton, Oklahoma as well. And before we actually moved to Tulsa, we would visit them as well out in the country. So
So you actually lived in Tulsa for part of your growing up years when you were in high school, or is it earlier, middle school?
Yeah. So I bounced around a little bit. So we were born. I was born in Texarkana. I lived there, and then I believe in '99, my mom moved us to Rhode Island. I have family. I have family up north as well. But she moved us up to Rhode Island. We were there for, I believe, 3 years, up until 2003. The summer 2003, we moved back to Texas. I lived in Dallas for a short stint with my father while my mom finished school. My mom then finished school, moved to Oklahoma, and then my brothers and I then moved to Tulsa. I want to say we moved to Tulsa. I want to say maybe 2004.
Okay, because you were kind of a basketball star too, weren't you? You weren't really a rodeo cowboy. You were more of
I wasn't.
You were an athlete, but you weren't a rodeo athlete.
I wasn't. I was the ball player going around, my cousins. But I played basketball in middle school, throughout high school, and college as well. But to answer your question, I spent 12 years in Tulsa.
Yeah.
So middle school and high school and college as well.
Yeah, my family just down the road there. My mother's family in Muskogee and Fort Gibson.
Oh yeah.
So we always Tulsa. Well, we go to Tulsa because Fort Gibson was and Muskogee were like Forney. They're like, 1,000 people or 500 people or
Yeah,
whatever. When
yeah,
you're on one light, you can see, look down one end of the street, you can look the other and see the end of town.
yeah, yeah,
Looking. So
yeah,
Tulsa was like the big time. You're like, all get excited. We get to go to Tulsa. It's the city.
yeah. No, it was no. Tulsa was great. I love Tulsa. It's a great city.
Okay, great. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, and as we talked, for us, Western history and Western heritage, that involves a lot of things. And so when we say
yeah,
to somebody, what do you like about Western history, or what do you like about the Wild West, or about cowboys, or whatever, sometimes it's the art, sometimes it's the music, sometimes it's rodeo and the sport.
yeah,
A lot of times it's a fashion, so it
yeah,
is all about, the boots and the cowboy hats and the jeans and the shirts and and the bling and all of the stuff. And even when it comes to competing, as you saw at the rodeo, and we'll talk about that a little bit, the saddles and the horses and wrapping their legs and their tails and braiding their hair and braiding their manes and their tails. I mean, it's all an experience of how it looks. We want it to look good. We want to look good when we're competing, and
yeah.
there's that aspect of it too. They obviously want to win, but they always also want to look good winning.
Look good, play good.
Yeah, for sure. So tell us about that. So
The
how
great Deion Sanders said that.
did you always want to do fashion related stuff, or was that just something that came to you, after you were kind of in college or doing some other stuff, or once you moved up to New York?
Uh, I don't want to say it was something that I always wanted to do my whole life. I played
Uh-huh.
sports growing
Right.
up, so like any kid coming from where I come from,
Yeah.
the goal, the dream is to like make it pro.
Right.
In some
Right. Yeah.
some
Playing the
type of
NBA or the MLB or
NBA
NFL.
over, yeah, yeah,
All of that.
all of those things, even overseas. So I
Yeah.
don't want to say it was always a thing, but it was definitely something that I was always into.
Uh-huh.
I also won't sit up here and say that I was always into like high fashion.
Right.
I was just always into good fashion. You know what I mean? So you think about like the Ralph Lauren's, the J. Crews of the world, the Gaps of the world. All of those
Right.
like legacy brands with such a rich history. Those are the things that I was like into, and also those are the things that I could afford. You know what I mean?
Right.
I
Yeah.
couldn't go out and buy Gucci and
Right.
Louis and like some of these other things, right? So,
Right. Solo
but
every week. Yeah.
we just didn't have the means to do that. But once
Uh-huh.
I moved up to New York, it really opened my eyes up to a lot of things, and I think that's just when I really became inspired. And just seeing like how like the working man and woman looks different today than it did like 10 years ago, right? And like I
Right.
think owning staples versus just a bunch of clothes is more important than ever. Just because you may go to work, and from work you may go to dinner, and from dinner you may go and meet up with friends at a social gathering. So we felt it was important. Like when we started our brand, we wanted to give people product and apparel that was both elevated as well as functional, that allowed them to transition throughout their day comfortably and confidently. So
Right.
but yeah, no, to answer your question, it was really just, me moving to New York and just really understanding and seeing how important it was, to own staple pieces versus clothes. So I figured that, we would build a lifestyle brand around that,
Right. Right. Well,
and cater that to to that community.
sure, and it's great. And I mean, I love the name too. So it's the new
Yeah.
blue collar.
Yep.
So how did you come up with that? Was that
Yeah. I mean, just, going back to, it just, the working man and the
uh
woman looks different. I come from a very blue collar background, a very
right?
blue collar family where,
Yeah, me
you
too.
know, where, let's say 25, 30 years ago, when you utter the name blue collar, you think manual labor automatically, like off the top,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Where I feel like, it's different. It's more of a mindset, as well today. You know what I mean? I know a bunch of people who don't, let's say, their job doesn't consist of a ton of manual labor, but they work extremely hard.
Right.
You have people who work their 9 to 5s, right? But then after their 9 to 5, they
The-
got
Their
their
side
six.
hustle. Yeah, they're
They
doing
got their
something
side
else.
hustle.
Yeah, they're
You
working on that
know,
entrepreneurial
they,
thing, or they've
they,
got some kind of dream or something they're working on. Yeah, for
exactly,
sure.
exactly. They got their 6 to midnight. So,
Yeah.
so the name really, it's really subjective, and it really means a lot of things. But that's one of the many things.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just that that word has so many meanings today, and it looks different than it did 30, years ago, similar to the working man and the working woman.
Right,
Um,
right.
so
Okay, well, that's great. Well, so
yeah,
y'all can go check that out. You can check out the new blue collar
yep,
nyc.com. That's the website
mhm,
there where you'll see some of the lifestyle brand that Alex and them have created with him and his team. And so
mhm.
you can check him out there and follow them there. And, I know that you've had a lot of great like articles and things like that, up and
Yeah,
coming kind of things as an up and
yeah,
coming designer. And so very excited about that for you because it is important to bring that connection in, and I feel like that's what you've done with your lifestyle brand. You're bringing those connections of city and country, and they're like you say, casual and work and professional, kind of all together, and especially today, like you say, because we're not living in the same world, not even that we
right.
were living in 3 or 4 years ago, much less. And I know you also kind of started the business, didn't you? Right. As COVID and everything was happening. So I know that
Yeah.
was maybe a bit of a challenge too. And so how do you just keep going? What would you tell people that are out there with a dream, thinking about what they want to do, or working part-time, like you say, or working nights or weekends to get their dream done? And what would you say
Uh,
to encourage them?
Stick with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy. As you mentioned, we launched. We had our first launch September 2019. So yeah, like right before COVID,
Right.
which is crazy because it was something that like we weren't
Yeah.
prepared for. I don't think anyone was prepared
No,
for
yeah.
that.
No, nobody
So
was. Yeah,
it
none
forced
of us
it,
were.
yeah, no, it forces to pivot.
Yeah.
Which at the end of the day, like hindsight, I'm not mad about. But for anybody, out there looking to that's chasing a dream, I would just say stick with it. There's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days.
Yeah.
It's a roller coaster, but my best advice is to stay even keel. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I try my hardest to
Try
to
to
to,
take each
to
day as as you can, and
I
and
I
go with it.
try so hard, and it's better. It's easier said than done, but
Yeah.
that's definitely something that I would say. Just stick with it. I think that today, with in the age of social media, there's so much happening around us that we tend to compare our progression and where we're at
Right.
in life up against what other people are doing, and I think that
Yeah.
that's the wrong rabbit hole to go down.
Right. That can be
So
detrimental.
that
Yeah.
that can definitely be detrimental. Just because your journey is not the same as the person next to you.
Right.
They can be entirely they look entirely different or could be entirely different. So
Yeah.
stay focused and just and stick with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And just and go into it knowing it's not easy. I think that's
Right.
also
Yeah.
you know because of the age of social media, people just tend to make things look easy,
Right.
and they're not, and they may not be letting you into their process,
Right.
um,
Yeah. They're just
which could have
showing
been
you the
extremely
result.
hard. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
the
You're just
process
seeing
could get to
the
that
end
point.
result or something, or maybe the beginning and the end, but you're not seeing all that stuff in the middle.
You're not seeing
Right.
the fires that the
Right.
hundreds of fires they had to put out to get to the end result. So
Right.
stick
Exactly.
with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, stick with it. Stick with it.
Good. Good
Stay
advice.
focused.
Okay, well, so I hope y'all are all listening and taking notes, because we're going to we drop these nuggets, and that's the reason we're doing these interviews with people. And, we want to, sometimes we share a historical story with you because we want you to know that there were people that participated in the settling of the American West, and we
Yeah.
want to connect that cultural history. But we also want you to see that there are people today working in all the different places, so you don't have to be on the ranch, to be in a Western lifestyle. You may be an artist. You might want to paint Western scenes or something, or you might want to make jewelry, or you might want to do music, and you can do that. And so we're here to tell you that here's a space, a creative space and a place. If somebody's not encouraging you, go find people that will encourage you and that will stand with you and that will support your creative dreams, because it is a process, and it's not something that, like you say, that happens overnight. It's
No.
occasionally you get lucky and you get a big hit, or somebody or something or something kind of opportunity comes along, and if you're ready, you can take advantage of that opportunity. But you got to, like you say, be in the right mindset, and you got to be open to having conversations with people. And so that's what I really appreciate about us. We're fixing to kind of develop a partnership here so we can
Yeah.
support each other. And
Yeah.
so, do you want to, yeah, tell us a little bit about, because I know even though the cousins rodeoed and stuff like that, you really had not been to the rodeo, had you, until you went in Fort Worth, or maybe you'd been to something outdoors or something, but not like the big rodeo.
Yeah, no. So I've been to, I've been to several ranches like in my day,
Uh-huh.
but I had never been to like an actual rodeo.
Uh-huh.
And man, was it a sight to see. I'm fortunate that I got the opportunity to go and take my family and
Yeah.
especially my son, who's extremely infatuated, with the great American cowboy and the rodeo culture. So it was a sight to see, and I'm very glad that I was able to go and
Yeah,
be
get
accompanied
that
by my
up
family.
close personal preview of it too, and get to meet people too. And that's the
Yeah,
thing.
no,
I mean cowboys are probably just like models, or just like clothing designers, or people that
yeah,
deal in these different things, or event planners or whatever.
I'm
They're
human.
they're all human. They're people. They have really, some of them have great skills and great creativity and great abilities. And when we can work together with people that are doing great things and that are highly skilled and and really passionate about what they do, I think that was probably the other thing that you saw, is that everybody there was, they were there to win, but
Yeah,
they were also having a good time. They
with
weren't
my
sitting
mom.
over in the corner, doing their thing, or saying, I'm not going to talk to anybody else because that guy, I hate that guy. I'm right, I'm competing against him. It's not about that. It's about the time or the horse or the animal, depending on what sport you're in. So
No, that was great, and that was it's funny you bring that up because that was one of the things that stood out to me. I come from like a sports culture where like before games, like you're in the corner listening to like your playlist, or you're meditating somewhere and
yeah,
stretching, or
yeah,
saying your affirmations. But it was night and day. I mean,
right,
obviously those guys were there to win. But I went down to the practice grounds,
uh-huh,
and when I walked in, I mean, they were all practicing, and but one thing that I noticed is that they were all just having a
laughing
good
and
time,
talking, yeah.
reminiscing, catching up. Like, I mean, like, felt like, I'm like, yo, this is crazy because
Right,
an hour from now, they're going to be out there in that arena, and
right.
that's going to be one of the toughest 10 seconds of their life, toughest
Right, yeah.
30 seconds of their life. And,
Yeah,
but that just lets you know how confident they are in their craft. You know what I mean? That's
right,
something that they do every single day, and they've done it for as long as they can remember. I know
yeah,
with us, with basketball, like, yeah, like, we
yeah,
have practice every single day, and, we may be
yeah,
doing, but this is legit like a lifestyle. Like,
right,
literally, like, they're doing this every single day. I remember
right.
having a
On the
conversation. I
weekend
had a conversation. Yeah, on the weekends, on Monday through
through
Sunday.
Sunday.
So,
Sunday all the way, yeah.
while I thought that it was something I'd never seen before, just because, again, just growing up playing, basketball, football, and things like that.
Uh-huh.
It was just a testament to like how confident they were in their craft, and
Right.
that's what I took from it. You know.
Uh-huh. You started to say, I'm sorry, that you talked to somebody and kind of kind of broke in on you there. So you got
Oh
to
no.
talk to some of the guys behind
Well,
the scenes
in
and
in the players' lounge, like,
yeah.
I just, Bud Ford. He was just, I had the pleasure of having a conversation with him, and he was just like, hey, you should bring it. We're down here in, I think he said Midlothian. We're over here in
Right,
Midlothian. We rope every single day. Bring your son whenever.
right.
And it's just like they literally do this every single day. So,
Yeah, come on out
um,
anytime.
come on
We're out
out. Like,
there.
literally,
Yeah,
he's like, yo, he's like, come on out. Like, we're here. Bring your son. We're in Midlothian every single day. We're roping.
yeah.
So, but yeah, no, all of that to say though, it's literally just a testament to how confident those guys are in their craft, and they're really good at what they do.
Right, they really are, and luckily,
Mhm.
in Fort Worth obviously is. I mean, that's the best Cowboys. That's a little bit different rodeo than the normal rodeos we do. All the other rodeos, Cowboys have to compete.
Yeah.
But what they've done is they've competed in the previous year, and then the best guys get picked to come to Fort Worth, and they get to come to Fort Worth because it's a stock show and rodeo, so it's a little bit different than the rodeo, like you say, we'll have in Dallas, at the end of July, the last Saturday of July. That'll actually be the Cowboys will come in and compete that morning, and then the best times will go on and finish up and ride that night, and so it's a little bit different process. So you probably did get to see the best of the best. And so, I'm sure some of those younger guys coming up, they get nervous and they're a little nervous, but like you say, a lot of these guys have been doing it for years. Bud Ford, one of our big, calf roping champions, professional cowboy. He won a lot of money on the professional level. And,
Mhm.
he's an older guy now. He's got family, he's got kids. He didn't want to be on the road every day anymore, but he can still compete in things like Cowboys of Color because we're kind of local, and he lives over in Midlothian, south of Fort Worth, or if you're somewhere else in the country listening to us and you don't live here in Texas. But yeah, so and the rodeo is great fun and it's family, as you saw, even with the Hearn family was putting on the rodeo,
Yeah.
the granddaughter and the great granddaughter
It's amazing.
was running around,
It's
and like
incredible.
you say, she was probably happier than anybody I've that was the happiest baby I've seen in a long time,
Yeah.
Rachel's Rachel and Eldon. Eldon's one of the middle sons of Cleo, and his daughter Rachel is a barrel rider, and she wasn't racing barrels with us on at Fort Worth because she's 7 months pregnant, and so once she has a second baby, though, she'll be back on a horse, within about a couple of weeks or 30 days, after that second baby's born, and she'll be competing again. So, and that's the thing that's kept me involved so many years, all these long years, these 30 years, because it's just a family thing. It's fun. It's the camaraderie of meeting people and seeing people. And like you say,
Yeah.
most of those
Great.
guys, we just hadn't seen each other probably since last October or last September when you were at the state fair or we're at the finals or something in Las Vegas. And so, they're catching up with all their guys and gals and seeing what's going on and how they're doing and how's the family and, how are the folks or how
It's
are the
great.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just being down there in the players' lounge, it was, it was awesome. It was good. You just felt the
Yeah,
love
good
in the room.
stuff. Good stuff. Well,
Yeah.
do you want to share anything about what we're doing or plans kind
Yeah.
of going forward? Do you feel like you're in a place you want to do that, or you want to wait and do that later? Or no, yeah, we forgot we got our videos here. Let's run through those
Oh
first, and then we'll
yeah.
finish up.
Yeah. Let's run through those.
So there you are. That's the thinking. I've said the planning guy. He's
Yeah,
he's making his plans there.
my mind runs at a rapid pace at all times. So
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
yeah, there you see me. Just I think that was on set at the first installment of our varsity collection last summer.
Uh-huh.
That was me just providing some directive, like that was during the campaign shoot. So that was actually a lot of fun. Both of those guys involved in that campaign are actually brothers.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. And then that's actually me, ironically styling one of the best stylists. Ironically, that's me styling one of the best stylists.
Uh-huh.
He's actually that I know.
Uh-huh.
He's actually based out on the West Coast. His name's Marquise Miller, and I reached out to him and told him that I was looking to do like a lifestyle feature on him, and that I wanted to launch some product around that lifestyle feature Q&A,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, he let us shoot him, and he was he was great,
Yeah.
and yeah. Had a lot of fun with that one. Oh yes, and then this is at my grandfather's house. So we released a handful of shirts last summer, shop shirts,
Uh-huh.
and I thought it'd be really cool to feature, my grandfather,
Your
in this
grandfather, yeah.
campaign.
Got a picture of him coming up here in a minute
Yeah,
after
yeah,
some of these others.
yep, yep.
So you
And that
got
was
kind
that.
of you got kind of the sportswear, the athletic kind of stuff, and then you've got the work clothing, and then
Yeah,
you're evolving into more of the suits and the more work related activity, because this is your there it is,
yeah,
TNBC, the new blue
yeah,
collar.
yeah.
I love it. I love it.
I mean, and we really strive to
You
produce
back there
these.
sweeping the floor? Is that you back there sweeping
Yeah,
the
that's
floor?
me. That's actually that's a part of the campaign. That wasn't like that's actually a part of the campaign.
I
So,
love it. I love it.
um, yeah, no, I mean we really strive to produce and distribute product that works. Just works across the board.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It basically contributes to your already existing wardrobe. We
Right.
so
Yep.
whether you want to take a business casual approach, just a casual approach, it's I think casual. It's just I think our product really gives you the luxury to do that.
Right.
And yeah, that's the photo of me and my grandfather.
Your grandfather, yeah, that's great. That's
You,
great.
you guys don't understand how difficult it was to um, execute this campaign. My grandfather is like anti-internet, like
Right.
and before, like I don't think he really understood. And then I brought the cameraman, and he brought his setup, and he's like, what are we doing
What are
here?
we
And he's
doing?
just like,
Yeah, who are
he's like,
these people in my house?
he's like, are these photos gonna go on the internet? I'm like, yes. Like they're actually gonna live on my website and it was just even. But I thank goodness I was one of his favorites
Right.
growing up because he let us rock and let us do our thing. And the campaign actually turned out really really good. So
Really
I'm happy. I'm happy with how it came out.
Yeah. Even though you're not smiling there, you're happy with that campaign. Yeah, no,
I'm
that's
thrilled.
great to
What you
involve the
guys don't know,
family.
what you guys don't know in that picture, right, I'm actually very thrilled, although I'm not smiling. I'm very, very happy. So
Yeah, because it all went well. That's great.
yeah,
Great.
that's another photo. That's us in New York, 2020, Q4 of 2020. I think that was for the release of our fifth collection we released that year. So.
Uh-huh. Great.
And that's the same, part of the same shoot.
Yeah, like you should.
Shout out Lynn Burton. That's the model in the photo. We worked with him on several products. He's worked with the brand basically since our inception.
Yeah.
So he's a pleasure to work with, and he's a really good guy. So
Uh-huh.
that.
What's this? Did you just paint this? Is this the smiling?
No, so actually my friend, but my friend to the I guess to the right in the photo, to my left
with
actually,
with the dreadlocks.
to my left, so he painted that.
I love it.
And he's one of those guys that just does like a lot of things really really good. He's a photographer, videographer. He actually just shot a recent campaign for us and lookbook that we just did. But his name's Carl Pierre. So this shot was actually taken during the Q&A portion, of the shoot.
Right.
And similar to what we did with Marquise Miller, we also produced like this lifestyle blog or this lifestyle feature around him, and we launched a product around it.
So you're telling the story. In addition, it's not just about the product. It's about the story.
It's never just about the product.
Yeah,
it's never about just the product.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's another thing that sets you apart from what you're doing because because it is for you. It's about telling those stories.
Yeah.
And about the people and about the, how people engage in activity, like you say, whether it's work or play or social or relationships. And so that's really fun. But that is really fun that you had your granddad in there.
When I got
I
there,
love it. Oh, you're gonna
I
love
didn't think
that.
it
You're
was
gonna keep that forever because that's the only thing I regret is that we don't have really good video of of my folks and my grandparents. I mean, we have the
oh man,
stories that we sat and listened to, and we can repeat the stories, but we don't have that live stuff because it just wasn't on our radar. We just weren't big photography and video people. It just wasn't something my family. We grew up middle class when we didn't have a lot of access and. And I
yeah,
mean, when my brother, we have this whole series of things when my brother was a baby, and then we got like one picture of me. So it's kind of like they gave up. It's like
yeah.
they
No,
tried they tried to do the baby thing with the first one with my brother, who's a couple years older than me. But when I came along, it was by that time they were like had a 2-year old and a new baby, and they're like, I got one or two pictures, and that's it. My baby book's empty. His baby book has all this stuff in it.
don't feel bad. I don't have a ton of baby pictures lying around either.
Yeah,
So yeah, don't feel bad. But I will tell you that my wife, on the other hand,
right.
has
Everybody.
has, has thousands. I don't think she's
Thousands.
missed a moment. I don't think she's ever missed a moment.
All right.
So
All right. That's great.
um,
That's
I'm
great.
thankful for that. Thankful for her.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So she's lovely. It's so nice to meet her and your in-laws. So it was
Yeah,
so
they're great.
fun, that that your father-in-law had worked at one of the dealerships and actually
Yeah,
knew Cleo had got used to
how
coming
crazy
to
is
the
that?
dealership and hang out with them and talk to them and everything. That was just yeah. So I was telling me like 2 degrees of separation is what this is.
Yeah,
But anyway, we are talking about doing a legacy collection related to Cowboys of Color Rodeos, and we're very excited to have Alex and his team come in and work with us. And we're going to be creating some fashion pieces that will be our legacy collection for the rodeo because we're celebrating 50 years of rodeo production with the Hearn family and 70 years of Mr. Hearn himself being a rodeo cowboy and a professional cowboy. And so we're just delighted that the new blue collar is going to go in and participate with that and help us kind of do that and create some of these pieces and help us tell this story. So we
can't
really
wait.
thank you very much.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it. To the opportunity to utilize our platforms to educate our audience, whether that be through product, content, or experiences.
Right.
I think this is going to be really good, and we can't wait, and really looking forward to start working with you guys.
Yeah, so we're going to be having a good time here, and we'll probably have Alex come back later on, and we'll launch some of
Whenever,
that stuff here, and we'll show y'all
yeah,
some stuff here. But see, our time is up. It goes so fast, but I
I'm
appreciate you
probably
being
having
on
fun.
today, and
Yeah, thank you for having me.
you bet. So
Yeah,
one more time, you can connect with Alex at the new blue collar nyc.com. That's the website there. You can find them on Instagram. I'm sure they can probably follow you there, Facebook, some other things. You're going to be watching if you watch some of those fashion magazines and some of those things, some of those big business magazines. You're going to be maybe finding Alex and his team in there, and so go check him out. We appreciate that, and so. Thanks so much for joining us, Alex. Is there any last
yeah,
thing you want to say
my
to the
pleasure.
audience, or then I'll
Um,
wrap us up?
well, I just want to thank you again for having me on and allowing me to tell our story. And I'm again just really looking forward to working alongside you and the rest of the team over at Cowboys of Color Rodeo. And just really looking forward to utilizing our platforms to the best of our ability to tell these stories and educate people.
And share stories with people. So that's what's all about for us. Well, this has been so much fun for me today. But this is your host, Liz Lawless. This is episode 50 with Alex Ewing, a fashion designer. And this has been Wild West Diversity. And we hope you'll come back and be on the show with us next week. We're going to be talking with Geneva Dew. She's actually a singer, an African American singer that sings the national anthem for the PBR, which is the Professional Bull Riding Association. And her goal is to sing at the PRCA, the big rodeo in Las Vegas next year in December. So we're hoping to promote her and her platform too, and get her out and well known to some folks. So Thanks so much for joining us today. Come back and see us next week. If we don't see you on Thursday, we'll see you on the trail. Hello, this is Liz Lawless, your host for Wild West Diversity, where we tell the rarely and untold stories of multicultural contributions to the settling of the American Wild West. Each Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, we'll be sharing a historical legend and a living legend. Someone from history and someone living that Western lifestyle today, keeping it alive for the future generation. We hope you'll join us on Thursday. If not, we'll see you on the trail.